Sara Ezzell is a movement artist and choreographer with a professional background in classical ballet. She has danced professionally with St. Petersburg Ballet, Stuttgart Ballet, Bundesjugendballett, and Hamburg Ballet. Looking to expand her own creative work, Sara has collaborated with numerous productions and festivals in Europe. One of those collaborations has been in her role as an artistic consultant with Creative Operations, lending her artistic voice to project development and serving as a choreographer and assistant director on the Alice in Wonderland videos. We sat down for tea to talk women in the arts, Alice, and Bob Fosse. Welcome, Sara. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you so much, Corinne. It's nice to be with you.
Nice to have you here. I'm really excited to talk about all of our great memories from putting the videos together. Our first video, I'm the Mad Hatter, but I'm sure some people might be curious on how we met each other in the first place.
It's true, and it was a really beautiful meeting because I was eyeing you up like the whole night and just kind of like, who is this like powerful, focused, driven, gorgeous artist of a woman? And it was at a gallery. It was at a gallery opening for lady artists, yes. And it was in Hamburg, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. 3 years ago.
That long already? Gosh, okay.
1, 2. It was 3. It was at least 3 years ago.
Wow.
And we were both invited to speak, as you remember, and I got to sit next to you.
And it was really great. No, I mean, it was really great in the sense that we were given this unique opportunity as women in the arts to talk about how it is to be women in the arts and how we can support women in the arts. And what I found so beautiful about the night is that our friendship and our relationship came out of that idea of women supporting women and that we can collaborate together. So it was really, really great. And then we were getting together for coffee and was just letting you know some of the projects that I was working with my partner for Creative Operations, Sechelle Beck, and just was talking about Alice in Wonderland and if you would possibly have any ideas. And somehow we roped you into things pretty quickly.
Ding! No, you got me right off the bat. I remember with the first time you even brought it up. It was after an opera on tap. It was after this, these performances that you were coordinating, and yeah, I was smitten. I was just like, Alice in Wonderland opera, yes. And from there, it's just been really organic, supernatural, and when we started shooting these videos, it was also really nice to enter into your creative world, which has always been super succinct and very clear, which is a gift often when there's direction like this, where the trajectory is just very sure. And then it's so easy as a collaborator to come into that and just, use what I can do to help that blossom. So, yeah.
I wanted to talk to you more about that because for me, I don't know, I felt like instantaneously we spoke the same language. Like you were very quickly in my head and we were speaking the same language, we had the same ideas. And to me, then I could have really like absolute trust and just let you go and trust you as a choreographer, trust you as an assistant director. And if, I was in a scene, for example, that if you said it was good, it was good. Do you always have this intuitive connection or?
I feel like every collaboration is different based on who I'm working with and also what they want from me and what the end goal is. Mm-hmm. Having the opportunity to work with you because you are so clear right off the bat and also clear with yourself on what you want. I feel like that intuitive coordination was you just set the stage for that to be very natural.
Well, and you supported all of that.
So we've got chemistry, but I think it's really I think that's possible with any collaboration if things are structured in a way where that can be invited. And if, for me as a collaborator, if I'm very, very clear on what my task is or tasks, mm-hmm. and basically what we're all striving towards.
Yeah, and I was nervous in the beginning because you are such a beautiful dancer, a creative person. You've done choreography for multiple projects. I've seen some of your work before we even started collaborating on the Mad Hatter. And then I was feeling guilty coming to you going, I would like Bob Fosse. And I felt like, oh gosh, she's going to hate me because I had this very distinctive style in mind. Was that limiting? Was that helpful? How did you make that your own?
I think for me, in the case of what we were working on, it was helpful because, of course, I could make something from scratch. I'm able to do this, but that takes a lot of energy and a lot of time. And for you to already have an image that fits with the material and a style and kind of an attitude that you're looking for me, this was great. I'm like a little leech. I can just come and just like latch on and suck a little bit and just, turn that blood into something hopefully good. So it wasn't limiting. I think freedom comes from structure, actually. And
Yeah,
I'm the first person to be like the hippie in the woods with no structure, but really a certain kind of structure is very important to have leeway to be creative. So it was wonderful. All
okay.
good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, memories. But speaking of structure and freedom, and you spoke about this the first night when we met too. Your deeply held, I don't know if it's a belief or a mantra, like everyone can move, everyone can dance, and that everybody should be moving and not feeling bad about movement, and very inclusive with that. And I've noticed that you take that into your choreography. You don't show up with this very set routine, 5, 6, 7, 8, move here. You really get to know the group or the individual that you're working with and come up with, again, you're collaborating. You have ideas, but you collaborate with that person. So at the end of the day, they feel comfortable. And I know Norbert felt really nervous going into it, especially with the extremely tight. I mean, we rehearsed in one day, we shot the second day. He had never met you. He was super nervous. And you just immediately set him at ease. And he just really enjoyed working with you. So go into that, how you work with somebody and create something together.
I'm glad I set Norbert at ease. That makes me feel good. Because, of course, me walking into the room, I'm also nervous because there's always that unknown factor. So I think more often than not, everyone in a new space that walks in is nervous. And it's just this thing of how can I be the most prepared in what I'm bringing, where I can be the most present in the moment with the people I'm working with. So it's this balance. I mean, I know there are other choreographers that also do beautiful work where they really have exactly what they want. It's very set. And then the work is like bringing whoever they're working with into that and bringing them to that level or to that style. And for me, I'm a bit different. And as maybe you noticed, I'm really about, bringing what I can to support and raise up the performer and hopefully bring out what they can do in like the facet of what we're all trying to work towards. So it's a balance. And again, for me, it's just being able to really be present. And to do that, I have to have some things prepared, but I also have to have this freedom to let go of all of it if something different comes that's better for that person, for that moment. So I think it's just a thing of being present, being open, and not being so like egotistically attached to my own ideas in a way, but still cultivating them before I show up and making sure that I do have material in case something needs to come out.
Exactly. Like you were saying, you have the structure, and from the structure comes the spontaneity. Because, as we know, sometimes you'll rehearse something in a room, you get to the stage, it doesn't work. And so you have to be flexible to then adapt that. And we found that with almost all of the videos there were certain things that had to change just because it didn't work in the space or didn't work well on film. And oftentimes that's where the real gems come.
Yeah,
But you're only able
absolutely.
to do that if you've got kind of this foundation, because then you don't feel like you are, constantly floating. So
Yeah.
how did you view the Mad Hatter? How do you view him?
In general, or sort of in the context of our Alice project?
Actually, you could do both. That would be interesting.
I mean, in general, I mean, just the kind of basic trope, of this, what his name says, just this very spontaneous, you don't know what he's going to do, just a lot of fun and kind of magic, and also just zaniness and being also very bizarre. And I loved when I first heard the track. I mean, I fell in love with Norbert's voice. I was just like, ooh, this is so rich.
There were all these like little gems because he's such a singing
Yeah.
actor. So
Yes. Yeah,
it's
those
very
things
visual
mixed.
what he's doing. He's acting through his voice, and yeah, I think he's fabulous too, obviously.
Just all these nuances, right? And so hearing that was interesting for me because, yeah, exactly like you said, it's this mixture of acting and singing, but you hear it
Mhm.
and how he's putting things forward. And I loved that you actually wanted Fosse, because Fosse can get very zany, even though sometimes it can be very aloof. And for me, I always actually loved Fosse. I just had a little bit when I was in high school. And then when I was in my very intense ballet training as a teenager in New York City, we shared studio space with the Fosse Foundation. So they would be coming and they were rehearsing Pippin in the building. So I was always hearing Pippin, like the main beautiful trio from Pippin, and watching them and just being like, that looks like a lot of fun. It
Did you
looks like
ever
more
see?
fun than what I'm doing.
Yeah, did you ever see Anne Ryan King?
Mm-mm,
Okay, just curious.
mm-mm,
Well,
mm.
that
I'll
Fosse.
add it to the list. But yeah, so I thought it was a wonderful way to approach the Hatter, like an interesting, a little bit juxtaposed, but still very much fitting the music, fitting the way that Norbert is putting the music forth, and then just also a fun way to play with the character, also with the hats.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to have not, I mean, we always have the large Hatter hat, and I just wanted to do something different. And so um, then the idea of Fosse, of course, Fosse has the bowler hat. So there had to be this use of the switching of the bowler hat with the crazy top hat that was created as, of course, his favorite hat. But, as a hat maker, he's going to have a lot of fabulous hats. But I really wanted the Fosse with the bowler hat, playing with that. And also, I think even if it's a family friendly or children's story, I mean, I think Alice in Wonderland is a story for all ages, but you can't have light without darkness. So I really like that you have maybe the Hatter with all these bright colors, but there's this edginess or a little bit of charm or sensuality that comes through with the sweetness of the tea and cakes and
Mm.
scones.
We did make him a little bit edgy. Like
We
by the end, he was losing it, and I liked that. I remember we were like, should we fix his makeup? And you were like, no, it's perfect. He's losing it by the end. Too many cookies, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have this kind of undone quality. And you choreograph that in because there was the more structured, but then there would be these mad moments that you had choreographed in where he's just gone insane. He can't, like a teapot on the stove, he can't keep it in anymore. He starts, and I
Mm.
really liked that because that to me wasn't so much a Fosse thing. That was just the Mad Hatter's insanity coming through.
Yeah, that's true. That was definitely not Fosse. The spasming, all those choreographed spasms, I really enjoyed those too. And actually, from what I remember, like Norbert was really good with the structured things. What we had to really work through as a team was finding his version of spasm. Because,
Yeah.
one person's spasm is different than the next. And it was I'm glad that we found our happy medium
Yeah.
with the Mad Hatter freaking out, because I also enjoyed that part the most out of all of it, And we were in this park, right? And I just remember like a lot of things kind of flying and being like, now run to the tree and jump and go down on the ground and roll. And it was just really like a adventure movie, like
Oh
action.
man, and he was such a trooper. I mean, redoing that sequence over and over again. And he's a class act, and just gave it 110%. And so what was your favorite moment from the day?
From the day,
I mean,
I think there was a lot of, we got a lot into that day. I think I had a lot of favorite moments just peppered throughout. I mean, as when you're doing something this special, I would say like cleaning the park bench and putting my grandmother's quilt on it. That was fun. I mean, just like these really quirky things, or like arranging the scones, or like when Norbert, we started to do this improvisation on the swing, on the tire swing. This was hilarious because he just had his little bum sticking out, and it was just, I mean, there was a lot of moments throughout the day. Yeah.
It was really, it was such a special day. Like going through it, it was a little stressful because it was the first video.
It was a lot.
There was a lot.
For a first video.
It was an ambitious first video. But we were working around Hamburg weather, and people who were being generous and donating their time and talent to the project. So you're working around all of those things, and we learned a lot in that video. But it's still such a wonderful memory, and I owe it to your work and Norbert's performance. It was just really something special, and set off, I think, the chain of events for the other videos, because it was just this big, exciting start and foundation to keep things rolling from.
Well, likewise, Corinne, also you put all of the structure and the base and kind of the blood, sweat, and tears to make all of that happen just from the ground up. Like you tilled the soil, you put the seeds in there, you like got everyone to come and water the seeds, so it was definitely a team effort for sure. But I'm thinking now how much I would enjoy just sitting in a park with you and Norbert and the rest of the team, and all of us just kind of dressed up, like drinking tea, like as some kind of memory, you know what I mean? Like of just relaxing in that state, because it was just such a funny state to be in, but we were so focused and had such a time constraint, of course, that like we were really just in it, but like very fun.
Oh, well, it was a lot of good memories. Hopefully there'll be more memories to make in the future. Moving forward with everything. And thank you so much for taking the time to go down memory lane and join me for a little tea time talk.
Ooh, clink, clink.
Cheers.
Cheers, my dear.